Welcome to the Beau Show, the home of faith, family, and freedom. The Wingfeather Saga is an animated family TV series based on books by Andrew Peterson and created by VeggieTales and DreamWorks veteran J. Chris Wall. It was crowdfunded by 10,000 angel investors via Angel Studios, a fundraising concept of the Harmon brothers, which allows audiences to fund the projects they want to see come to life. Angel Studios gave rise to the biblical TV series The Chosen, as well as dry bar comedy. Wingfeather has crowdfunded $6.7 million so far, making it the #1 crowdfunded animated family series. The series uses a proprietary paint motion CGI via Unreal Engine. Wingfeather is an adventure series with a redemptive theme and designed for families, because after all, it was funded by them. This is such an opposite model from most studios where they curate the content for you. It's hard these days to find content the entire family can watch that has both a sense of adventure as well as a sense of redemption, rather than depravity. I attended the premiere of the Wingfeather Saga in Nashville and sat down with some of the creators of the show.
I've heard things, Podo. Dark things.
Dragon Day!
I'm coming!
This is a story that is whimsical and it's fun, but it's also got a lot of heart.
I had seen Andrew as such a collaborator. He'd worked so hard to tell this story in this authentic way. I said, I actually want to partner with you. What if we considered that? And it is the most amazing thing to be in a position now where we can bring this to the screen.
The fans have been amazing because they've spread the word. We could not believe how many people jumped on board. It was thrilling, but it just kind of demonstrated what an incredible fan base the books had.
We're so thrilled to give families the imaginative world of Wingfeather Saga, of Air We Are, of all these great characters. You're a bit of an ex-pirate yourself, I guess, yeah?
I'm a bit of an expert pirate, actually. Straight off the cliff, a lot of them.
Grandpa!
I feel like everyone is going to be able to enjoy this type of a series. It runs the gamut of emotions from joy to laughter to fear and facing life and death situations.
Blackaddish took 3 children in Dugtown last month.
I saw the drawing and thought, that's me. Keep them safe, I will. Get up, go, we go.
Stabbish elbows, exceedingly hot behind your parts.
We really, really believed that we had something special. And so to see not just an appetite, but a hunger to see the Wingfeather Saga make it to the screen is something that only the fans of the series could have done.
Run! Can you believe we fought a Fang?
We fought a Fang! Oh, we're in so much trouble.
Andrew Peterson, Chris Wall, thank you so much for being with me today. I'm so excited about this Wingfeather Saga. Andrew, you wrote the books that gave rise to the series, and I know that you tell stories that you want to be told. So tell me how this saga unfolded, how it came to be.
Yeah, man, I'm a dad. So we have 3 kids. They're all grown now, but we loved stories in our house. I loved them growing up, and whether it was getting into a good movie or we read aloud a lot as a family. And I just noticed when we were reading aloud that I could never quite find the story that I wish that I could read to my kids. There's a certain flavor of story that I loved to read when I was in high school and junior high, and that tasted like something that I couldn't really articulate. And so I remember reading the Narnia books to my kids when they were little, and I loved those when I was a kid, and the process of reading them as a grown-up was even more impacting, reading them to my kids. And then after that, I was kind of like, okay, what's next exactly? And looked around, and there are a few really great ones out there, but I just realized that I just was like, well, I think I want to try getting at the thing that I'm looking for myself. And so I'd always wanted to write a story, and I told my wife, hey, I think I'm going to do this. And she was like, okay, go for it. And I was like, it means I can't watch Lost with you anymore at night. And that was back when Lost was like the big show.
Yeah.
And she was like, okay. So I just gave up my evenings and started cranking out the story.
Is that how you found Ian Cusick too?
Yeah, well, I mean, it was part of the reason Ian was the inspiration for the character that
Okay.
he ended up playing. Yeah.
And Chris, how did you get associated with Andrew on this project?
Andrew and I had done a little bit of work together on VeggieTales. He'd been able to write some songs for us, and in the middle of that process, handed me the first book. And I knew I'd see him again. It would be awkward if I hadn't read it, so we read it as a fam, and loved it. It was like super whimsical and just fun. And I was like, this is great, I want to follow this journey. And so we read the whole 4-book novel all the way through, and it just kind of wrecked me in the best ways. And I think that anytime you're a storyteller, you want to find stories that you deeply connect with, and this was one that I had deeply connected with. And I think that gave a certain stamina to like, let's go really work hard and see if we can't make a TV series out of it.
Andrew, as a Christian, you talk about being formed in the Maker's image, which is why you love making. And I think you and I share a common passion for originality and the creation of something new, both in your writing and your songwriting, too. In a world of artifice and copycatting, how did you instinctually gravitate towards originality?
Whew. Well, you know, I just, I would say, let me think about this. I would blame Rich Mullins. Rich Mullins was the singer-songwriter that was in the Christian music world that those clothes never quite fit him, you know? Mm-hmm. And so when I was growing up in the church, I loved music. I loved a certain kind of story, like I was saying. And you know, I had this encounter with the gospel and with Jesus as a person. And it was almost like all the books I'd been reading and the music I'd been listening to as a kid was like composting in my imagination. And when I encountered the gospel, it planted this seed and something grew out of the compost. And so I began kind of scanning the horizon for people who were doing the thing that I really loved. And Rich Mullins was to me, like, there he is. He cares about poetry. He's an incredible songwriter. He's not interested in, you know, just feeding people what they want to hear. He's trying to tell the truth beautifully. And he also really seems to know the person of Jesus. And so it's not for me about being original, it's just about being who it is that God made you to be.
Well, you have such a connection to music, and I'm a musically trained guy myself. Talk about the music, because I was listening to that first episode. I'm hearing lilts of Irish and Scottish and some Celtic mandolin-based music.
Yeah.
Where did the inspiration for that come from?
Oh, man. Well, there's a band called the Arcadian Wild, which is the best band that you have never heard of yet.
Not till today.
They have a huge fan base. They're an amazing, amazing band. They're dear friends. And when we were talking about the music, I remember going to Isaac, one of the writers in the band, and it's kind of this like progressive bluegrass stuff, kind of like the Punch Brothers or Nickel Creek or whatever. And went to him and I was like, okay, so for the music for this thing, what I'm imagining is something that's kind of Irishy, but also kind of like modern bluegrass, but also kind of like storytelling-ish. And I gave him like 15 adjectives, and he was like, okay, I'll get back to you. And then he did all of that. Somehow he managed to make music that felt like all of those things. And so it's the band.
Were you guys surprised when it set an Angel Studios record of $5 million in 3 weeks?
It was unbelievable. You know, Andrew had done such a good job of cultivating his audience, right? Over the books themselves and just caring for his audience, you know, and we did a Kickstarter back in, 16 rather, that set a record then. We got $100,000 in 48 hours, which was like astonishing from this little bitty group of people that said, we want this story to exist. And it's the kind of thing, like if you think you want to go on a journey and you ask your community, should I go on this journey? And they say a resounding yes, you go, all right, let's walk. And that happened again last year in the most just devastating way, because we had been through a lot of years of, frankly, very lonely, like really believing in the story, really believing there was an opportunity for it. But being told on the Christian side, there's some fantasy elements, make us uncomfortable. There's not a God in it. It's not allegory. And they were also being told by the secular side, but this guy, he's wrote some things called resurrection letters. The Christian element makes us a little uncomfortable. So we're just in this middle space, and it was the doldrums, and it was really lonely. And to come out and say, hey, we, with partnership with others, want to make this story. What do you think? And to have that resounding. So you could take that $5 million in 20 days and go, attaboy, we won. It's not a win. It is oh my gosh, we've been given a mantle to carry out now. And I think that's been the journey the last year and a half making this series, has been like, you told us to, we've gone, and we can't wait.
On that note of not having like a God, let's say, in this, it's not truly necessarily a faith series per se, but Andrew, you wrote a note to parents. I read it, and you told them that in no way are you trying to warp them into the dark arts or witchcraft. And in this respect, how different did you want it to be from, say, like a Harry Potter type of thing? Where did you draw the line in that into cultivating this fantastical, whimsical series that still has notions of redemption and faith in it?
Yeah. Well, I would argue, I'll just say I didn't want to... I wanted to make it as easy as possible for people to get excited about the story. So when it came to magic and some of those elements, I was just like, that's not a hill I want to die on. I want the world to be no less full of wonder than our world is right now. And you can call it what you want, but I did want to make it so that there was the people in the world took for granted the fact that somebody had to make them, and for whatever reason they have the sense that that someone that they call the maker has good intentions in mind for the people.
And then finally, maybe in the last 30 seconds, can you just tell me about this paint motion CGI feature that you're using? Tell me about that.
Like you said earlier, we did not want to do what everybody else is doing. Why be derivative? Why do the same old thing? And because we're able to do it independently, let's go create what we want to create. And we had all grown a little tired of CGI. What would it look like to take handcrafted 2D, melded with what we do in the computer, with computer animation, and bring this new thing to life? And thanks to some great work from some great artists, it's actually happened.
Well, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. I'm excited to be here and can't wait to see the premiere tonight.
Thank you so much.
Thank you guys. Wonderful.
Yeah, thank you.
God bless you.